My first insect is the Luna moth, or Actias luna. Some background information on the Luna moth. The Luna moth is a light green moth. They have long curved tails and one transparent eye spot on each wing that makes them look like they have eyes on their backs. Their wings can span from 3 to 4 inches. These moths make silk cocoons, and their males tend to be very good flyers. The Luna moth are drawn to light sources. This is because the moths use the moon to direct their flight patterns, so artificial light can confuse them. The Luna moth tends to live in deciduous forests in the United States. This ranges from Maine to Florida, north to south, and East Texas to East North Dakota to the west. The eggs of the Luna moth will incubate for 7 to 13 days before hatching the larva. After the larva comes the pupa, where the caterpillar will transform into the adult moth. The Luna moth is a nocturnal species. It can mimic live and dead leaves and use its wing patterns as a defense against predators. Sweet gum, walnut, hickory, and paper birch are some of the trees that the Luna moth can be found feeding on. The Luna moth is mainly found in the United States and some southern regions of Canada, so this is where it affects most. There isn't very much of an effect that comes from the Luna moth. A pro that can come from the moth is that they are often used in classrooms to show the life cycle of caterpillars. There is no known cons of the Luna moth. Other than eating the leaves of the plants, that's really the only damage that can come from them, but it's never anything major. Because the Luna moth is not really a problem, there's not really any means for control of it. The only thing is that owls like to eat the Luna moths, so that's their natural predator. My second insect is the snowy tree cricket, or Oceanus fultoni. The scientific name of the snowy tree cricket is Oceanus fultoni. Some other common names are Fulton's tree cricket and the thermometer cricket. The cricket has a green body with pale legs and antennae. You will also find an orangish-red area on its head. The snowy tree cricket, or Fulton's tree cricket, was named after Dr. B.B. Fulton. Dr. Fulton studied the crickets for many years and contributed a lot to what we know about the cricket. Snowy tree crickets are usually found in trees and plants rather than the grass. The crickets can be found all over the United States except in Florida and Mississippi and Montana. Like most crickets, the snowy tree cricket can get through an incomplete metamorphosis. The 3 stages that they go through are egg to nymph to adult. This is incomplete metamorphosis because they do not go through a pupal stage. Their eggs typically hatch in the spring and they reach adulthood by the end of the summer. The snowy tree cricket's chirps depend on the temperature outside, which is why they are also called the thermometer cricket. The warmer the temperature, the more chirps that the cricket will let out. It is said that if you take the number of chirps in a 13-second span, add 40 to that number, you'll get the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit that it is outside. Typically, the snowy tree cricket will eat fruits like apples, peaches, plums, cranberries, raspberries, blackberries, and flowers. The United States and some of the southern areas of Canada are the parts of the world affected by the snowy tree cricket. These crickets are heavily populated in fruit-growing states in the northeastern United States. One pro of the snowy tree cricket is if you don't have a thermometer, you can still tell what temperature it is outside by counting the chirps. There really aren't any cons when it comes to the humans, but they're very bad for fruit. If not treated properly, they can cause major crop loss. The main sign to look for when looking for signs of the snowy tree cricket would be a row of pin-sized holes in the fruits. Females will drill the holes and lay the eggs inside. Then they'll fill the holes with chewed up plant parts, like you can see in the picture. Snowy tree crickets are never a huge problem for farmers as long as they're treated properly. If they're not, then the crickets can cause major crop loss. Biologically, there are not many ways to control the snowy tree cricket other than to manage the amount of weeds that are in your fields. Although the crickets don't dwell in grass, they do like tall weeds that have stems on them. Chemically, carbaryl is the best chemical to use to control the snowy tree cricket. For the carbaryl to be most effective, you'll need to use 1 to 2 pounds of active ingredient per acre of crops.